I have traveled the world as Vice President of the United States, and world leaders are laughing at Donald Trump. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom worked with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
Kamala Harris is tough. Tiny fingers, not so much.
I wanted to always play it down.
You see, Harris agreed to debate Trump, but Trump ran away. 60 Minutes asked Kamala to appear, and she said sure. Trump said,
I've done 60 Minutes many times, even back in the good old days when journalism was respected and legit. What 60 Minutes did in doing this was election interference and fraud. It is the worst and most blatant scandal in broadcast history and will not soon be forgotten. Just watch.
He's threatening retribution should he win, which he won't, but he could.
The bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
So Harris said, I'll go on Fox and answer questions from a conservative host on a conservative station. And of course, Trump cried like a little baby. Trump not only doesn't take questions, but he's a shitty dancer. Look, all we've heard from Trump and Fox is how Harris is dodging the press and not answering questions. But that's a lie. Kamala Harris has been out there with that huge 60 Minutes interview, ABC's The View, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and more. And to this talking point from the right that black men don't like Kamala Harris, well, there's a new poll showing Harris has similar support from black voters as Joe Biden did in 2020, contradicting previous claims she's losing their support to Trump. The poll was conducted by YouGov for CBS News between October 8th and October 11th. It found that 87% of black voters would vote for Harris and only 12% would vote for Trump. Everyone can see that Trump is a poser and that he's not tough. Ooh, look at that little cut on his ear. Look, he's about as tough as Josh Hawley dancing out of the Capitol.
Represent the lollipop you.
So Harris will sit for a Fox News interview, and it's killing Trump.
Your interview with Kamala Harris was one of those three. So this is big news to everybody. People are getting a lot of there's a lot of interest in it. And I'm curious if you could walk us through, how did it come together? And then how do you think it will go? How much time do you get with her?
Yeah, it took a long time, the back and forth of the campaign. I've obviously asked, a lot of us have, for interviews. I was also asking about a debate that we were trying to have, a final closing arguments. The campaign came back and said she was going to have this event in Philadelphia and I could have a sit down. So the time is roughly 25 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. We were trying to do it live, but they gave us the time 5 p.m. Eastern time. As you know, my show starts at 6. So we're doing it pre-tape, but wanted to wait until we got the commercial structure. So now we do, thanks to the folks above. We are going to run it uninterrupted, unedited, all the way, maybe 30 minutes, the first part of a special report, and then we'll have a panel discussion about it afterwards. So that's how it came about. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm in the making of how it's going to be structured.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how she got to yes. So why would she see this massive audience as an opportunity, or who does she see in that audience?
Well, I just think that, you know, you're right. We have a lot of eyeballs. We have Democrats, independents, and Republicans. We have the biggest cable news audience. And this probably is going to get a lot more eyeballs. I think tough but fair is what I pitched it as, and I think that's what they're going to see. If you can think of the issues that people care about, that they ask pollsters, or they answer to pollsters what they care about, those questions are going to be in the mix. And, you know, some things that perhaps haven't been asked in other interviews. There's time. You know, 30 minutes is enough time to press and follow up, and I think we'll go down a number of different roads. That event outside Philadelphia is a Republicans supporting Harris. So I think she's using that event to kind of make a point before the interview.
Trump hates Bret Baier because he's not one of Fox's 4 weak little incels who make millions shoving their brown nose up Tiny Finger's arse. Blair will ask tough questions of Kamala like he did of man titties.
I now know Washington probably better than anybody. I know the good ones and the bad ones, and we will have really great, strong people. I already know who they are, but we will have really great, strong people.
Okay, in 2016 you said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that.
This
and we
time,
had tremendous, look, we had the best economy we've ever had.
This
the world
time
has ever seen.
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again, calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called and Barr a gutless pig. Your second Defense Secretary is not supporting you, called you irresponsible. This week, you and your White House called your White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your acting White House Chief of Staff, Mick Mulvaney, a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, dumb as a rock, and your first Defense Secretary, James Mattis, the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary, Kayleigh Canadian, milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary, Elaine Chao, as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So,
the reason Trump doesn't do interviews on other networks is because he's insane. On Fox, he's safe because their cast of children let him run all over them with his bullshit. But not this guy.
She came out, she just said, the Green New Scam. She just named all these things.
But President Trump, the issue at the markets are looking at the fact you are making all these promises. Latest one was car loans. You're flooding the thing with giving giveaways.
But we're going to grow.
I was actually quite kind to you. I used 7 trillion. The upper estimate is 15 trillion. People like the Wall Street Journal, who's hardly a communist organization,
yeah, but you don't know.
They have criticized you on this as well. You are running up enormous debts.
What does the Wall Street Journal know? I'm meeting with them tomorrow. What does the Wall Street Journal know? They've been wrong about everything. So have you, by the way. You've been wrong about it.
You're trying to turn this.
You've been wrong about it.
No, you're trying to turn this into debate.
Trump has no idea, I mean absolutely no idea of anything closely related to intelligence. He doesn't know what a tariff is. He doesn't understand inflation. He lies about NATO. And when media and elected officials confront him, he does this.
Terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to. And it's very possible that it's going to happen to them.
Revenge does take time, I will say that.
It does.
And sometimes revenge can be justified.
Trump is a tumor to the cancer that is spreading across America, a virus that begs complete compliance and loyalty to a man who will destroy our economy and place us precariously on the edge of civil war. And he's not even hiding it. And yet Fox News said this.
She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her.
The misogyny and violent rhetoric is tearing the nation apart. And while Trump, MAGA, and Johnny Donuts and the rest of these cowards cling to their populist, racist, violent missives.
The bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Well, Kamala Harris is proving that she's not only tough, but will stand right in your face and say, bring it on, baby. Fox isn't the enemy, so Harris is treating them simply as political foes who can be like Cheney, Kinzinger, and hundreds of other Republicans who treat it as smart people and who, upon hearing all the facts, arrive at the same conclusion.
Say this to my Republican colleagues who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain.
Kamala Harris is a woman who has faced it all: racism, misogyny, and physical threats of violence. And yet, when Trump calls her names and uses racist rhetoric,
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
She steps into the ring and says, oh, Donnie, is that all you got?
Goddamn right.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, Don.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.